July 30th, 1975. A powerful man drives to a quiet restaurant parking lot in Detroit. He was one of the most famous labor leaders in American history, and by the end of that day, he would vanish forever. His name was Jimmy Hoffa. His disappearance sparked decades of theories, mafia ties, government conspiracies, and betrayal at the highest levels. Nearly 50 years later, the question remains: what really happened to Jimmy Hoffa? To understand Hoffa's disappearance, we first need to understand his power. Born in Indiana in 1913, Hoffa rose from humble beginnings to lead the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the largest labor union in America. By the 1950s, the Teamsters controlled trucking, shipping, and industries that fueled the American economy. But power comes with enemies. Hoffa was adored by union workers and feared by business owners, politicians, and even the mafia. To some, he was a hero who fought for the working class. To others, he was a dangerous man who played too close to organized crime. The 1950s and 60s cemented Hoffa's reputation. Under his leadership, the Teamsters became the most powerful labor union in the world. Hoffa negotiated contracts that lifted millions of workers into the middle class, but he didn't play by the rules. Investigations revealed Hoffa's deep ties with organized crime. Mafia bosses used Teamsters pension funds to finance casinos, hotels, and shady businesses. In return, Hoffa received their loyalty, or at least their protection. The government knew something was wrong, and one man made it his mission to bring Hoffa down: Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy. The battle between Hoffa and Kennedy was legendary. Televised hearings showed Hoffa's fiery temper and Kennedy's relentless questioning. It was a showdown between labor power and government authority, and Hoffa would not back down. In 1967, Hoffa was convicted of jury tampering, fraud, and bribery. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison. But even behind bars, Hoffa's influence didn't fade. Then came a twist. In 1971, President Richard Nixon commuted Hoffa's sentence. There was one condition: Hoffa was banned from union leadership until 1980. Hoffa wanted his power back, and that made him dangerous. Mafia leaders who had gained control of the Teamsters in his absence didn't want Hoffa's return. On July 30th, 1975, Hoffa was last seen outside the Match's Red Fox restaurant in Detroit, where he was supposed to meet two mafia associates. Witnesses saw Hoffa pacing, looking angry, and then nothing. He was never seen again. What happened to Jimmy Hoffa? The theories are endless. Some believe he was murdered by the mafia, his body buried in concrete under construction sites, highways, even beneath Giants Stadium in New Jersey. Others suggest he was silenced by the government, afraid of what Hoffa might reveal. Despite decades of FBI investigations, no body was ever found. For the American public, Hoffa's disappearance became more than a crime. It became a legend. His name lives on in movies, books, and endless speculation. To this day, the mystery of Jimmy Hoffa remains one of the greatest unsolved cases in American history. Jimmy Hoffa's rise and disappearance tell a story about power, loyalty, and betrayal. He gave a voice to millions of workers, yet his downfall was tied to the shadows of organized crime. Nearly 50 years later, Hoffa's fate remains America's greatest labor mystery. But Hoffa's story is just one chapter in history's darker side. Because behind every empire, whether political, criminal, or corporate, there are secrets waiting to be exposed. Next time, we uncover one of Europe's biggest scandals, the Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal, and how a lie built a billion-dollar empire.